Okay, guys, so this is the start of Life 101. You guys can take notes. There will be an assignment at the end of this video, and if you guys have questions about the assignment, you can email me. You can reach out here on Canvas. There's all kinds of ways you can reach me, but those would be the two best. And we'll talk about that after we're done with the lecture. You can take notes if you'd like. All of the topics in Life 101 were topics that you guys said that you wanted to receive before graduation. So we're going to start with some basics today, and this will be basically your topic for the whole week. So we're going to talk about everything from hygiene through getting your first job. Some of you already have jobs, some of you have never had a job. So some of you want to change your jobs. So hopefully this information will be valuable. The information that I'm giving you is stuff that I have culminated throughout my own experience and my own life. So I've done a lot of jobs like we've talked about. So I have a lot of experience with getting jobs. I've been a manager. I've hired people. I can tell you what's important in the job search. So I hope you guys find this beneficial, and I hope this meets your expectations. So here we go. All right, so this is a different way for me to deliver content, so bear with me, guys. So we are starting our Life 101. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to talk about is, believe it or not, hygiene. Yeah. So some of you may need to hear this, some of you not so much, but let's be real. Y'all got to be clean. Take a shower at least once a day, brush your teeth at least twice a day, and in between meals if you can too, that's awesome. And make sure you floss at least once a day. You got to do these things, it's basic. You got to be clean, wear deodorant. People do notice these things. So let's start with that, okay? So awesome, right? So all right, so what to expect when you're adulting. That's different for every person, honestly, but what we all have in common is that we get up, we go to work, we pay our bills, and we have to be responsible every day. It's kind of like the same thing over and over again. If you've seen the movie Groundhog's Day, it's kind of like that. You wake up, you do the same thing every day. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's not. Depends on what you choose for your job and your daily life and what you do for fun and in between. You have to pay bills, and you have to pay them on time. That's important. If you don't, your stuff gets taken away from you. You lose your house, you lose your car, whatever. So you have to do those things. Don't get caught doing stupid stuff. When you're a kid and you get caught doing stupid stuff, it's one thing. When you're an adult and you get caught doing stupid stuff, it's worse. You have harsher penalties. You can lose lots more, so you have more at stake. So in the Navy, we used to say, do whatever you want, just don't get caught. I mean, that's basically adulting. You have to make choices, and your choices all have consequences. So you get up and you do the right thing every day, go to work, pay your bills, come home, feed yourself, go grocery shopping. That's life. So you just got to pick the lifestyle you want and how you want it to go, and make choices and understand that those consequences are part of everything. You're always going to have consequences for your choices. So you choose. All right, what to expect when you're on your own. There's lots of good stuff when you're on your own, honestly. Quiet, peace. That's great. No curfew. That's always fun. But you also have bills. You also have responsibilities. Nobody else is going to clean your place for you. Mom's not going to come do it for you. You got to do your own laundry. You have to be the one that makes sure that your bills are paid on time. Because nobody else will do it for you. So you have to learn to be responsible for those things and set your budget and know, hey, I have the money to do this, or I don't. Or, hey, I have to do the dishes, or my place is going to stink, or I have to do my laundry because I'm not going to have anything to wear. So it's all about being responsible. It's all about knowing what needs to be done and keeping track of it and making sure that you make the time to do those things, because if you don't do them, nobody else will. So make sure you have your budget set, make sure you have your schedule set, make sure you manage your time. You could go out all night if you want, but you got to make sure that you get up and go to work the next day. And you got to make sure that you, when you went out, you didn't spend too much money because you have to pay that rent check at the end of the month, or the phone bill or the cable or the Wi-Fi or whatever else that you have, whatever luxuries you choose to have when you're on your own. So it's all about your budget. It's all about your time management, and it's all about making sure that you're responsible for yourself, because nobody else will be. So you got to keep that in mind. You're responsible for you once you're an adult and once you're on your own. Mom and dad or guardian or whoever, they're not going to always come bail you out. I mean, maybe they will, maybe you'll be lucky. I know in my family that wasn't, you screw up, you have to be the one that, oh, you overdrew your account. You have to pay those fees. So, you got to figure it out for yourself on that one. Okay, so renting an apartment. Most of the time you're going to need a security deposit, and sometimes first and last month's rent. So that can get really pricey just to start out. Leases can be 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, month by month. It depends on the landlord, and it depends on the property management company that's running the place. They can raise your rent after your lease is up. They can tell you you're not allowed to renew your lease. It all depends on what kind of tenant you are and what kind of relationship you have with the property management company. There are very few reasons that they'll let you break the lease, but sometimes if you're not happy there, after you've signed the lease, you can, break the lease and go somewhere else to live. That's very rare though. Like they have to really be guilty of something that violates your right to a nice place to live, basically. To be approved for an apartment, a lot of times you have to have or be able to show that you make 3 times the monthly rent. It doesn't have to be just you individually if you're going to have roommates. So it has to be like your combined income if you're living with other people, if you're going to have roommates. You guys have to be able to show that collectively you guys make 3 times the monthly rent or more. Like I said, once you sign that lease, you're stuck up until that lease is done. There's very few reasons you can break a lease. Most of the time you're not going to want to or need to, unless something happens like you lose your job and you can't afford to, or maybe you don't get along with your roommates. If you don't get along with your roommates and you want to move out, a lot of times you can work that out with them and like just find somebody else who'll take your spot. But you have to remember that you're still on that lease, you're liable. So if they move out and break that lease and you're on that lease still, even if you've moved out before them, the property managers can come after you. So make sure whoever you're living with, if you're doing roommates, is somebody you trust and won't do something horrible or shady like that to you. So hope I answered your questions on that. If not, email me and I can elaborate. So. All right. So career planning. You're moving out, you have your own place, so you have to have a job to pay for this place, right? Um, like I said, I've had a lot of jobs, so I don't know that I've actually ever really career planned. I just kind of did stuff, and if I didn't like it, I quit and did something else. Um, what it all boils down to and what I've learned over the years is you have to really think about what's the lifestyle you want to live. Um, let's be real, we're not all going to be a Kardashian and be born into money and have millions of dollars to just go blow and like do whatever we want all the time. Um, but we know kind of what we want to have as a lifestyle, what's realistic and what's not. Um, so I don't know if you all did the enrichment activity or I sent you to findyourgrind.com and you took the personality test and it told you, oh, you'd be a great entertainer or you'd be an educator or this or that. The reason I sent you guys and why I put that website up and why I did that as an enrichment activity is when I was at that conference in Reno, I really liked the presenter and I liked his little personality test and his philosophy on it's about the lifestyle you want. So as an entertainer, you might not be a rapper or a TV star or something like that, or an actor or an actress, but there's other things in the entertainment field that you can do that would feed into that lifestyle that you want and that industry that you are interested in. So if you haven't done that, go to that website, take that personality test. There's lots of different job ideas based on the industries that they broke down by your personality type. So if you just kind of keep clicking through that website, you'll find more and more information. It's like a rabbit hole. It's great. You could just go down it and spend a good amount of time on there kind of exploring. Again, that website is findyourgrind.com. But it is about the lifestyle you want. I knew when I finally got into teaching that, I wanted to have lots of downtime. I don't really get lots of downtime. So I was a little off on that because, we work on our holidays, we work on our summers and stuff like that. But it is a flexible schedule overall with the amount of vacation times because my wife and I like to travel. So this career works well for us. I also like to be the center of attention and whatever, this is my show, right? So, and, I like to be around kids. I like working with you guys, but not littles, I like teenagers. So, I had to kind of think think through what do I want and what do I want to be around? And, a lot of it was trial and error. And I think a lot of you guys will have to do trial and error too. It's okay to not have it all figured out right now. And you need to know that. It's okay if you're going to change jobs. It's okay if you're going to change career paths. You don't have to be stuck in something that you picked at 16, 17 years old for the rest of your life. You might start off with a lot of passion towards something and then burn out and want to do something else. That's okay too. It's okay if you start college and you change your major 16 times. You have to pay for it ultimately, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. It will be okay. Just try things, try lots of things. And if you don't like it, move on. You're not stuck. So it's okay. So. Okay, so job applications. Most of them are online now, but every now and again you'll find a place that it has paper applications. So make sure that you fill those out neatly. I've seen some of you guys' handwriting. Yeah, you just go slow, write neat, print. Don't do cursive or scribblies or swirlies or anything stupid like that. Just write neat. Fill out all the blanks. And if something doesn't apply to you, put N/A. That means not applicable. And when you go to drop it off, sometimes actually when you go to fill it out even, so both times, when you go to drop it off and to pick it up, be ready for a job interview. So be dressed nicely. For boys, males, whatever. Wear like nice khaki pants or dress slacks and a nice polo or button-up shirt. Girls, ladies, make sure if you're wearing a skirt that your skirt is at least to the bottom part of your middle finger if you put your hands down at your sides, or be wearing nice slacks as well, you know, or khakis or whatever, some cute capris, whatever. You don't want to be wearing jeans with holes in it or things like that. Girls don't have bare shoulders, so don't wear like a tank top. Wear like a nice, like a sweater. If you're wearing a tank top, like a sweater over it or something like that. So basically you want to be conservative. Based on where you're filling out your applications, you don't want to have like cute, fun colored hair. You don't want to have your piercings visible, things like that. So like if you're going to apply for an office job, you know, dye your hair a normal color if you have the fun colored hair. If you have big gauges or whatnot, you might want to take those out for the interview process. Just be conservative for that part. After you get the job, you might be able to talk to them about what's allowed and what's not allowed. When I worked for Pechanga, I had to take my nose ring out. Never bothered putting it back in. You know, so it just depends. And then places like Pechanga, you can't have visible tattoos. So if you have visible tattoos, you have to wear like sleeves to cover them up and stuff like that. If the job application asks for references, it's huge. A lot of times they will ask for references. Before you put somebody down as a reference, call them and let them know. When I was a manager, I had a girl that I hired for holiday help, and I wasn't keeping her on staff because she was terrible. She was awful. Not a good employee, not a good coworker. Nobody liked her, including myself. And so I told her, I used the excuse that, oh, I just don't have enough staff now that the holidays are done. She used me as a reference. I had no clue, and I was caught off guard, and I didn't have anything nice to say. And so, yeah, that was really not a good situation to be in. So make sure you talk to people first. You can use teachers, you can use former bosses, you can use friends of family, things like that. You want to make sure these are people who know you well and can say nice things about you. And then, like I said, tell them in advance, like, hey, I'm using you as a reference. I think that's all I can cover on job applications. So if you have more questions, or if I forgot something, or if I didn't say something that you were hoping to hear about as far as job applications, email me. Workplace etiquette. Workplace etiquette is tricky. You guys think in high school, once you guys are done, you're done with the games, you're done with the BS, you're done with the pettiness. I'm sorry to break it to you. That's why high school is great for you. Is it helps prepare you for the real world. This stuff doesn't end. The dynamics, there's going to be mean girls and bros and whatever you call them, guys like that everywhere. Everything that you've encountered in high school, you will encounter in the workplace. Doesn't matter if you're going in the military, if you're going to fast food, if you are going to an office job, there's always going to be that dynamic. There's going to be the cool people and the not so cool people. There's going to be the fun people, and there's going to be the ones who will go and tattle and tell the boss, like, oh, you know, so-and-so was like 4 minutes late today. So the dynamic never leaves. So be prepared for that. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry. But it's best you know. So to be blunt about it, don't gossip. Don't be that person, you know, like, oh, hey, did you hear? You know, because people will talk to you. They'll tell you stuff. They will make friends with you. Sometimes you'll go and hang out with some of them, and you may decide you don't like that person that much after you hung out with them or whatever. Or maybe after you've done a couple of shifts, you don't like that person. But don't be the one to gossip. Don't do it. Don't date your bosses. And don't, if you get promoted, don't date the people who you are in charge of. Just don't date at work. I know work is a great place to meet people, but don't do it. It just makes things messy, especially if it doesn't work out. Know your audience. And what that means is know who you're talking to. When you go in, you got to basically code switch. So you're not going to talk slang to your bosses. You're not going to talk slang to your customers, unless you're like working in like a skate shop or something like that. I don't know. Then you want to talk the lingo. So you need to know, like I probably would never work in a skate shop because I don't talk that way and I don't know anything about it. But not that there's anything wrong with working in a skate shop. Those are probably great places to work if you're a skater. But I'm just using that as an example. So you know what I'm saying. Know who you're talking to is the biggest thing. You talk to your audience in the way that they would best understand and communicate with them on their level. Don't assume that everybody knows everything when you're talking to them. So be able to break things down and explain it to them in a way that they understand. I know I struggle with that with you guys sometimes. But basically you have to know how to, if you're in sales or in any sort of job where you have to communicate with others, you have to be able to break down information from one person to the next and be able to understand it as it's coming down and as you have to translate it to others. Show up on time. It's huge. If you're one of those people that has a hard time getting going in the morning, you're just gonna have to get up earlier. If your boss asks you to do something, nothing should be considered below you. You should never look at somebody and say, why do I have to do it? If your boss or somebody in the workplace asks you to do something, just do it. Eventually, if it's some job you hate and they ask you to do stuff you don't like to do, then, you work your way out of that job and either work your way up the chain where you don't have to do those things or go find a different job. But don't be the person who thinks that, they come in and they should be the CEO of the company. You're just starting. And you have to work your way through that. Okay, working with people and workplace etiquette, it's kind of redundant. They're a little bit the same, but because both were put down, I'm giving you both. People suck. I'm definitely much more of a dog person than I am a people person. You're going to have to work with people you don't like. I'm sorry. Just like when I give you guys groups or any other teacher gives you groups and we tell you, hey, you got to do this as a group. And you come to us and you're like, I don't like the people in my group. You're going to go to work and you're going to be at your job. And there's going to be people who you don't like and that don't like you. That's just the reality of it. You have to learn to put it aside and just do your job. And again, like I said, in the workplace etiquette, don't date people you work with. Very, very, very seldomly does that work out well. So just get past it, get past the pettiness. Remember your paycheck is worth more than the drama. In most cases. Sometimes it's not. And if it's not, then, either that person has to move on or you have to move on. But, you're going to be stuck with that person that you don't like. And sometimes that person you don't like is going to be your boss. You just got to learn to deal with people and deal with their BS and just know that, this too shall pass, as my grandmother used to tell me all the time. So, try not to get wrapped up in the drama of it and just do what you're supposed to do and move on because that's all you can do. So, sorry, I wish I could give you more on that one, but that's just basically it. Just do your job. Don't focus on the stuff that's stupid. Don't focus on stupid people. All right. How to keep a job. This builds off of the last two slides. Show up on time every time that you're assigned for a shift. I know sometimes life happens and you might be late here and there, but do your best every day to be on time. If you really want to tick off your coworkers, you want to tick off your boss, be late every day. Don't make excuses. So like if you're working at an office job and you don't want to be the person who answers the phone every time it rings, you don't sit there and make excuses for why you don't want to do it. Just do it until you can work yourself into a higher position. Or if you're at a fast food place and you don't want to be the person who has to clean the bathroom every day, work hard and work into a different position, or just start looking for another job if they keep asking you to do things you don't want to do. You're just going to have to be prepared to do stuff you don't want to do. There's no such thing as a perfect job. You're going to find stuff that you don't like about it every day. As much as I say teaching is the best job ever, because it is, in my opinion, there are still things that I don't like to do. I don't like grading essays, but it's something that I have to do. And I don't like having to give feedback because most of you guys don't read it, but I do it. For the 5 people who do read my feedback. So just know that there's stuff you're always with any job you're going to do that you just don't want to do. It's part of life. So be prepared for that. Be respectful, smile, fake it till you make it, as they used to say. You smile and pretend you love it, even if you're miserable, until you move on into a better position or a different job. So just smile and know that, your shift will end and you'll get to go home and do something more fun, if it's in your budget. He said, be respectful. Be respectful of your coworkers. Be respectful of your supervisors. Be respectful of people that you encounter at your job, the clients, the customers, whatever. Volunteer to help. If something has to get done, even if it's not something that's been assigned to you and you don't have anything else to do. That's my dog snorting. She came in to see what I was doing. I don't know if you saw her, but she's really cute. But volunteer to help. So if it's not something that was assigned to you, and you have time and you're done with all your tasks, volunteer to help somebody else do theirs. That's a really quick way to get noticed by those who are higher up and be moved into better positions. So don't just stand around. That doesn't look good for you. Doesn't look good for your coworkers. It's a fast way for people to start not to like you, is if you're the person who just stands around and does nothing. Most places have cameras so they can know, like, hey, you were just standing there, you didn't do anything, so maybe you're going to get passed over for that raise or that promotion because you're not the helpful person, and you were negative or whatever. So just be positive. Say, yes, of course, I'll help. Be that person. Okay? So next up is your assignment, what I'm going to have you do this week. So yay. Be excited. You'll have all week to do this. So okay, so your assignment. The first thing you're going to do, some of you have already done this as the part of the enrichment activity. Some of you didn't do it yet. So those of you who did do it, you're going to probably have to go back and redo it unless you started an account with Find Your Grind. But you're going to go to findyourgrind.com and you're going to take the lifestyle assessment or personality test. I think it's called lifestyle assessment on the website. You're going to look at what career paths or lifestyle that it recommended. You're going to need to select the personality or lifestyle type that it matched you with. You're going to click on the spot that says learn more. And then you're going to scroll down to where it says careers for that lifestyle or personality. I want you to go through and pick 3 careers that you are potentially matched with that base your lifestyle that you wish to have. They do not all have to be from one selection, because like with mine, it said like 74% entertainer and like 68% something else. So it comes up with like 4 or 5 different types of matches to your personality. So you can pick 3 from just one, or you can pick 3 from any of them. But I want you to do is I want you to search those careers that you think sound appealing based on that. Find out what the average pay is for those careers. What kind of schedule do they have, and what kind of training does that require? And write me like a couple of paragraphs, or like, yeah, a couple of paragraphs for each of them that just kind of explain the basics of it. Like, is this a job that you are interested in, or do you think you'd be interested in? Why or why not? What do you think of the pay? Is the pay good? Is it not good? The schedule, what do you think? The next thing that you're going to do after that is you're going to search out a job application. You can just look for job application templates online. Or you could look up job applications for a particular company. It doesn't matter. And I want you to fill out the job application. So I just want you to have that practice filling it out. And from there, you can scan it and upload it to me. Or if you have an iPhone, if you go to the notes feature, you can actually upload it as a PDF through your notes feature by taking a picture of it from your iPhone in the notes feature. I did not know that. I just learned this. So I think it's pretty cool. So it's supposed to work. Never done it. So let me know how it works for you. And then the last part, what you're going to do is, and this is the most important part, and that's my wife walking behind me here in the video. What you can do, or what I'd like for you to do for the last part, is you are going to write a letter to a former or current teacher requesting that they write you a letter of recommendation for a job. This letter should be in proper letter format. So it should have the date at the top, then dear Mr. or Ms. So-and-so, and then go down from there, and you're going to have your body paragraph requesting what the letter of recommendation that you want from them, and how they can get it to you. And then you'll drop down and you'll say thank you in advance for your time, or whatever, sincerely, however you want to close it out, comma, drop a line, and then your name. So I want this proper letter format. That's the biggest points of all of everything I'm requesting that you do. So all of this will be in a, with all the instructions typed out and everything in Canvas, and in little submission thing for you to turn this all in as one big file. So any questions, again, email me or reach me here on Canvas. So may the odds be ever in your favor. Good luck.